Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Brett Tippie podcast. I'm here with Micayla Gatto, an old friend of mine, and mountain bike extraordinaire. Well, you're not old, I'm old, but
We're old friends.
We've been friends for a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, and been a decade or more.
Yeah.
And here you are.
Here I am.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm excellent. Yeah, couldn't be better.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Micayla is a staple in the mountain bike world. She's been around the race world. She's been free riding since like 2015, I think. For those that don't know her, she was raised in West Vancouver, did BC Cup, Canada Cup. You did back-to-back podiums, a couple bronze medals in the Junior World Downhill Championships.
Yeah.
And then you raced World Cup for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Top 10 racer for a long time.
Yep.
And then you switched to a free rider, adventure rider years ago, making some really cool content.
The mountains were calling.
Yes, when they're calling, you always answer. And you're doing, the full, free ride lifestyle. Still riding your bike and loving it.
Yep.
And mixing that in with your art and having a good time with your friends in the mountains.
Yeah.
Not a bad life.
No, not at all. I'm pretty happy with my decision making.
Yeah,
skill.
It is a decision.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird when people go, "You're so lucky"? It's not like you won the lottery. It's like decision making, and you make sacrifices for other things to be where you are, right?
One of my favorite mottos is create what you want to be a part of, and I also really love life is what you make it. So whatever sacrifices you want to make to get, some doesn't mean it's going to be easy. That's also another favorite quote of mine is nobody ever said it was going to be easy. Because a lot of people think like to reach your goals, it's like something you want, therefore the process should be enjoyable, but like absolutely not.
Yes.
There's like a lot of struggle and hardship, but like
it's amazing how many nights and days it takes to be an overnight sensation.
Totally. Well, that's what I say too. Like people are like, "Oh man, you're so lucky." Yeah, like you look like you just live this life, and it's like I do live this life, but it's also a lot of work to make my life look like a vacation.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know people are like, your life is better than my vacation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The good parts too. That's just the part you see on Instagram, right?
Yeah, the highlight reel.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So do you remember when we first met? I'll tell you when we first met. Do you remember when we first met? It was at an epic riding location.
I must have been pretty young.
Well,
I think it like melds together because I grew up watching you riding and you were like a legend and like Wade and everybody else. So I can't really quite remember when like the TV became like the real person.
Yeah. You probably know of me. You might know me from such movies as All of Them.
And my VHS just like rewinding and rewatching.
Yeah. Well, I actually saw you race a bunch, BC Cups and Canada Cups on your rise to international stardom before we actually ever met. But the first time we rode together was on the Sunshine Coast.
Oh.
And I think you were dating Curtis Robinson at the time from the Coastal Crew.
Yeah.
And we went over and we did a bunch of shuttles, and it was lightly raining, just a little bit, and it was tacky. And I was like, wow, this girl's really good.
Did I shove my way in front of you? Because Leslie Tomlinson has a story of me being in a riding camp when I was maybe 13 or 12 or something. And I do not remember this at all.
Leslie Tomlinson, the cross country.
Yes. And she
Canadian
was my coach
racer.
and manager for a long time. But this was our first meeting and met up on a ride. And she was kind of there as like a scout to see who she wanted to like bring under her wing a little bit. And apparently I essentially elbowed her out of the way and was like, out of my way, I got this, and like rode this skinny or something. And she was like very impressed with my hunger for the ride.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't remember that at all. I'm so sorry. But I mean, the impression was good because she ended up being my coach and manager for years. So.
You gotta want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Out of my way. So I didn't push you out of the way?
You didn't push me out of the way.
Okay, that's good.
No.
I really wouldn't have meant to.
Yeah.
Didn't know if this was bringing up like an apology or something. Like
I've seen you at the bar though, and there were some aggressive people, and you're kind of like, oh really? And so you got the elbows out and you got your way into the bar, and it was definitely had some bony elbows in there, but you had to because it's crankworx, right?
Yeah, dog eat dog world out there.
Totally. Oh my God. So, you went from racing BC Cup, doing Canada Cup, and then you were in the Junior World Championships, and you won a bronze medal in Livigno, Italy,
Livigno, yeah.
and in New Zealand.
Yep.
Back to back.
Yep.
Bronze.
Yep.
Who beat you?
In Livigno, it was Rachel Atherton and Scarlett Hagan.
Okay.
And then in New Zealand, it was, oh my gosh, I forget the order. But it was Tracy Hannah, Florian Pougin, and me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's when me and Tracy Hannah first met. And without even really knowing each other, I think, I don't know, it was Facebook back then, because there definitely wasn't Instagram. But we'd been kind of chatting, and I'd already agreed to go and stay at her house for 2 weeks after the race.
She's so nice.
She's so nice. So yeah, that was the beginning of our lifelong friendship. But yeah, good years. Back when we had to wear skin suits over our body armor.
Did you have a visor though? Tell me you didn't
Yes,
take your visor off.
I never took my visor off.
Okay, see?
Yeah.
Cool points right there. Whew. Can you imagine?
But there's a really great photo. If you Google my name, there's a really amazing photo of me in a baby blue skin suit in Livigno with like a mud, you know when we used to use inner tubes for mud guards?
Yeah.
And you like cut the inner
Stretch
tube and
it
it's
out.
like this big fat downhill tube mud guard. And then I've got like full knee shin to the ankle pads on with like my full Dainese suit.
Over or under your skin suit?
The knee pads, I believe I had a skin suit with Dainese underneath it. So like back, chest, arms, elbows, like Bionic Man style. And then I had knee warmers, like spandex knee warmers over top of, I think they were like roach pads or something. And cross country clip shoes. So like pretty streamlined plastic shoes.
Yeah.
It's bad.
The Bionic Man. I can't believe you even remember who the Bionic Man is.
It's a bad look.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I do. I just know that it means...
The $7 Million Man. Steve Austin.
Oh.
I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, good times.
That is good time. Now, do those tracks suit you? Like when you was on the podium?
I was definitely better suited to more technical
Being
tracks.
a North Shore rider.
North Shore rider. Definitely not down for the dry, dusty, big jumps style of tracks. I was definitely more into the wet, slippery, technical stuff where, the skies would open up and the girls would get pretty nervous. And I was like, oh man, this is nothing compared to, I don't know.
Cypress.
Yeah, insert janky North Shore trail name here.
Yeah.
So
Because that was your backyard, Cypress, basically.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
ride all the shore mountains, but you
yeah, Cypress
lived
was
right
the main.
at the bottom of
Yeah,
Cypress.
Cypress was the main one, and
Which is gnarly.
yeah, like Fifth Horseman and stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
And then I think about like the bikes we were on, and
Oh, you're telling me.
yeah, exactly. I look at some of that old footage of you guys, and I'm like, yeah. No.
Well,
Like there should be extra points for the fact that you did that stuff on those bikes.
I know.
Because like it's still gnarly today, but then you just like put your hands this close together with like
Cantilever brakes.
cantilever brakes.
No suspension.
God forbid it
Yeah.
rains at all.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
I know. Sometimes I go back and I'll do an old line, or I'll go do it and go to shoot it, and I'll be like, ooh, it's kind of gnarly.
Yeah.
This is going to be fast, like I'm going to break traction right away. And I wish I had my downhill bike, and they're like, and I had to have my trail bike, right? And they're like,
They just show you a picture of you
yeah,
from
I'm
like
fully
the
rigid,
yeah.
from the 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, 3, 2, 1.
You're like, all right,
Yeah.
pass Tippie.
Just give it.
Fine.
So who did you ride with back then? Like, I know you rode with Gally back in the
Yeah.
day, and you've been like lifelong friends with Gally, and probably like Nick Tengren and all those guys.
Yeah, a little bit. Tingy and the Meyer brothers,
Yeah.
Lorne,
Yeah.
Jordy,
Yeah.
Gully. They all have Nini. I don't know.
Everyone,
Howie.
Everyone, you're like, yeah, an E to their name.
Sorgy.
Yeah.
Literally. That's so funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, all those guys.
And
Yeah.
what girls did you ride with back then, or did you just ride with the guys?
There's like no girls, really. There was like Katrina Strand and Claire Bouchard and stuff, but they were up in Whistler and
the Highway 99.
Yeah, and when you're like you don't have a driver's license. Yeah, I mostly like way back, mostly just rode with my older brother and then some guys from our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, who don't ride anymore. But yeah, they're the ones who like got me into riding. And then I met Jeff when I was probably 15 at like one of the high school cross country races. Because I used to race high school cross country races, as did everybody, because it was like local. Actually, Seminuk used to race them too.
I heard that.
Seminuk and spandex.
Yeah. Amazing.
So, interesting.
Yeah, that'd be worth money if you had a photo of that.
When we were all like 14, 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was mostly my brother and just the neighborhood boys.
So who convinced you to try racing and get on the clock for downhill?
How did that go? My neighbors had, one guy was in my grade and one was a grade lower, and their dad was super into it. And I think because my brother was 2 years older than me, so he was in high school obviously before I was and started racing the cross country series, and so I already kind of had a goal of like racing that. And then my neighbors, I can't quite remember, but I think like they selected me to be on like the BC Summer Games team
with the blue, with the little red Maple Leafs?
No, that was the national team. That was like national team colors, I think.
Okay.
BC Summer Games, we were green, like mech jerseys with like a BC flag. It was not great. I have some photos. It's bad. So mad.
And you're very much a color-oriented person, too.
I was so scrawny. It's crazy. Like my jersey was like baggy, and I have like braces, and I'm just an abomination. I look so awkward duckling for sure. But I think that was like the first time I really kind of kicked it up a notch, I guess. And then I ended up winning a few things there. And then Matt Cottrell, who was a racer from the Sunshine Coast, was also on our team. And he was like, hey, our local bike shop is looking for a girl. You should come to the Sunshine Coast and ride for our shop. So that was my first sponsor, was On the Edge Bike Shop. And that's how I met Curtis and Lewis and Chris Bates and Dustin Sept and like all these other local cross-country racer guys. But that's how I got the whole like coast vibe. And then I spent most of my teenage years, I would say, riding on the coast for the Coast Bike Shop. So yeah, Sunshine Coast was actually where I rode probably the most, like every weekend.
Such good dirt there.
Oh, so
Why wouldn't you want to ride there?
good dirt, good people, good vibes. Yeah.
And a short ferry ride away.
Yeah. And you only have to pay one way, except apparently that's changing. So BC ferries. But yeah, it was amazing. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was that's what really made me fall in love with mountain biking.
Yeah.
Was just having that community and those trails.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So when you were racing World Cup, you went from, podiuming a couple times in junior, then you went to senior, and you raced almost for 10 years racing World Cup. Top 10 racer consistently.
Not at the start. Oh man. Holy smokes. Like, that's the thing, like, because there weren't that many girls doing it, especially my age. So it was like BC Cups, Canada Cups. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was winning everything. It was very, I was pretty much undefeated. Got third in the world both years as a junior. I was kind of on my high horse, how Groms are, who are doing well. You get kind of a big ego.
Yeah.
And then, moved to pro and just got my ass handed to me at the World Cups. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
So who was like Sabrina Janier?
Yeah, Sabrina
and
Janier.
Rachel moved up with you. And
Sabrina Janier, Rachel Atherton, Tracy Hanna, Tracy Mosley was a huge killer. What other women? Like Melissa Buell, but she was more four-cross.
American.
Yeah, a lot of heavy hitters. And it was like, oh, I better...
This is the big leagues.
Yeah, I better actually start training and hard and working on specific skills, like going fast.
So when you started rocking it, what did you do in your brain? We were talking about just previously how sometimes when you are sick or sometimes you're injured, you get great results because you're relaxed, you don't have high expectations,
Yeah.
and you don't push yourself and make those costly mistakes.
Yeah.
Was it a case of that, or was it just training and putting it all the pieces together?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just like there's so many pieces that go into the perfect run, which you ask any racer and it doesn't exist. But there's definitely like the training aspect, the nutrition aspect, the mental coaching aspect. But honestly, in the like 10 years that I raced World Cups, I still don't feel like I ever really figured it out. And yeah, like you were saying, my best results were when I was either sick or injured or something happened that, oh my gosh.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, but not really, because it's like I put all of this expectation and all of this pressure on myself to perform, because you spend all winter training and you do all the things and you're supposed to be good, and you kind of in your head, even though they say you're not supposed to do this, you sort of like slot yourself into a placing of like where you think you sit, and then if you don't get that result, then you're disappointed in yourself. So it's like, oh, I have to come at least this, which might have been my first mistake. But yeah, just the like harsh expectation of performing kind of got in the way. All the like, unless I was sick or injured, which then suddenly you don't have any expectations, because you're like, okay, well, I have like
Nothing to lose, yeah.
I got bronchitis, so I'm just gonna try and get down and do the best I can, and like that's when I like podiumed at St. Anne. So it's like I don't know. I never figured it out. I think I should have just like, I don't know, had someone like push me down a set of stairs or cough in my face.
In your face. I'm a sick racer now.
Then maybe I'd be like world champ or something. You never know.
Totally. Oh my
Step
God.
on my toe. I don't know.
Yeah. Put me in the shin.
Yeah. Do something to make me not have expectations.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, you always seem to have fun when you were racing. Anyways, I know, like, you moved on to crankworx, and I think it was 2010 at the World Championships in Mont Saint Anne, and I was interviewing people before Win Masters with bike parts, handlebars, and stems and whatnot.
That was a dig.
Yeah, no, it wasn't big. It's a fact.
Before Win Masters.
Well, no, I just see him. I see him doing it, and I'm like, that was my idea. That was my idea. But maybe someone did it before me too. Who knows? I don't know.
No, you were the first.
Yeah, I must have been the first.
Yes.
Yeah. I grew those mountains that we were racing on.
We'll give you that.
Yeah. Thank you. But I interviewed you with a banana for some reason.
Yes.
And then you grabbed the banana and then you shoved it down your shorts. I
did.
Then you said, what did you say?
I was like,
I'm really excited to race the men's downhill here. You remember that?
Yep, I do.
And then it was in the show Just the Tip.
Yep.
And people loved it. It was funny. You just had a laugh. And then you pulled the banana out and then we both ate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a fine piece of
journalism. Better moments, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the way I deal with stress and nerves is definitely with humor. And I was always the girl at the top, like everyone's super serious on their wind trainers, like listening to music. And I'd be like I remember at Sea Otter one year, I was listening to The Lion King and was like, and then I ended up like coming third or something. Like I like did really well.
Yeah.
So my method, there is some method to my madness, but I would say not very many people understand it. But I'm definitely always the person that's like needing to expend some energy and like crack a joke and
I get it.
Yeah, release the tension.
Yeah.
Definitely not one to stare down the barrel of the gun and be super focused. But
so yeah, you were very relaxed, and fun to interview when you were doing crankworx, and you'd been through this decade of racing World Cup. You were like 6-time Canadian downhill champ, 3 as a pro. I believe, and
something like that.
Something like that. I may or may not be indecisive about those facts, but I think you're a 3-time Canadian champ. I know you're multiple Canadian downhill champ. That's definitely a fact. And then you were doing well in crankworx, but then you actually got a job hosting at crankworx too, and then kind of like transferring from being a full-time athlete racer to a free rider adventure rider. But it started on the mic a little bit, being at Crankworx.
Yeah.
And you were on the mic interviewing people, channeling your inner Brett Tippie. How was that?
Yeah, announcing for Crankworx was an amazing experience, working for Rebel TV and all that stuff. It actually started, though. So I stopped racing in 2014, actually due to injury and concussion. And then I took a year off and then reevaluated what I wanted to do in life and thought that, you know what, I've kind of accomplished everything I wanted to in my racing. And I didn't really have the drive to do what it would take to stay in the top 5. I wanted to explore and experience these places that I'd traveled to for the last 10 years, but never actually really got to see.
Training Hill, Race
Yeah,
Hill.
yeah. So then
New Mountain, Training Hill, Race Hill.
Party, throw up, get on the plane.
Yeah. I really checked out that place.
Wow, that toilet bowl was really cool. My 12 hours of freedom. No, you know how it is.
Oh, I've been there.
Everyone. No. But yeah, so then kind of reevaluated what I wanted to do as an athlete, and the announcing stuff kind of just fell into my lap a little bit. So I had actually just lost a bike sponsor. So I didn't have a bike sponsor. I didn't really have any sponsors. And it was my last, like, okay, you can go to New Zealand and put yourself out there and invest your own money in flying there and hotels and everything. And that was like all of my savings. And it's like, you're either going to do that and give it one last shot, or you're going to quit and, you know, pursue art or do something totally different. And I was like, I got to give it. I can't walk away and totally retire. I need to like see if I can just give it one last shot. So I went to New Zealand and I messaged Pink Bike. I messaged Crankworx, anyone and everyone I could. It's like, hey, I'm here. I'm at the race. I'm going to do some of the races. But if there's anything I can do for you guys, social media wise or anything like that, like I would love to be involved and like let me, you know, if you want to.
Oh yeah, weren't you doing some social media with Steffi Marth?
Well, no, this was before that.
Before that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
so
okay.
then, no, that was the same year. But so this was Rotorua Crankworx. I was on my own. Crankworx was like, yeah, you could try, you know, we need someone to do our Facebook Lives. So it was just Facebook Live through Crankworx. And then for Leger, Pink Bike, Crankworx was like, sorry, we can't pay to fly you out or pay you or anything, because I did it all for free. And then Pink Bike was like, well, we'll fly you out and we'll give you accommodation if you'll do like all of our social media stuff and like all of our stories and interview people and just be there and like have the phones. And then I asked Steffi, I was like, well, this is going to be a lot less boring if I have somebody fun with me. And that's how like the 2 Stoked girls came to be with Steffi Mart. So we did that season. Me and Steffi did Whistler and Leger and Innsbruck for Pink Bike. And then that fall, Crankworx was like, hey, do you want to be the new Hannah? Like the new face of Crankworx as like the host on the floor. And I was like, yes. I don't have any training, but sure. So yeah, cold turkey, just got tossed into the deep end.
It's not easy, is it?
Live broadcasting. Oh, I'll tell you what, like,
because you got to listen to them and listen to the directions, and you've got certain time marks to hit.
Well, and it's so off the cuff. Like, nothing's planned. They don't tell you what to say. They're like, interview with Brett Reeder, stand by in 5, 4, 3 questions, 3, 2, 1. And you're like, like trying to think of 3 questions that you can ask Brett.
What's your favorite color, Brett?
Yeah, that isn't.
How was that last run?
That isn't totally lame. And like, so how did that feel? Is like a complete no-no. So
it's
you're
hard.
like, what PSI do you have in your rear tire? So there was definitely a lot of like learning moments, embarrassing moments for sure. But it was cool. It was super cool. I feel like the live broadcasting, once you do that, everything else just becomes so nonchalant, so easy.
Yeah, I felt for you because I've done that, and you know, like I'm running around doing pink bike videos at the time, and
Yeah, you were going crazy.
yeah, like I think you know I was doing like 70 videos a year or
It was
something.
a ton of videos.
Yeah, and so sometimes you do like 3 or 4 videos a day, like 2 events, and then like a little side video and a course inspection or whatever, right? And adjust the tip, and it's like 3 hours sleep a day.
Yeah,
and then you're trying to look normal and talk normal and. You know, but I didn't have the earpiece in it. I was just winging it with the cameraman, right? And then sometimes, you know, I'd run into you and be like, "Hey, how many times did this so-and-so win the world championship? Oh, yeah, thanks." And we'd like,
we'd like,
okay, thanks. Onto the thing. And then it was actually really fun to run into you and seeing you giving it, because I know how hard it is to listen and think and then have a good question.
And then they'll like put you in the house randomly. So then you're just like in an echo chamber of your own voice reverberating off of everything, and then in your ear and outside, and oh my gosh, it's so hard. And then you're told like pretty much have fun but don't fuck it up, because there's over 5 million people streaming this at all over the world.
No pressure.
And then I like interview Kyle Straight and I'm like, "So your wife's keeping you fit?" Like super embarrassing. And then just eat my own words, and oh god. And then you fumble, or like this one time the producer forgot to turn me off, so he like presses a button to talk to me and then releases the button, and then I can't hear all of the other stuff that's going on. But he forgot to release the button, and he just starts screaming at someone, and I'm in the middle of interviewing Jill Kintner. And because I had no experience, I thought he was screaming at me. And so I'm just like just staring at Jill, and Jill's like staring at me, and all I'm listening to is like, "Queen of Crankworx, go on to the Queen of Crankworx, blah, blah." And I'm just like, so Jill, Queen of Crankworx. And she's just like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know." It was so bad.
Sorry, that was from someone else.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, I almost had a heart attack, because number one, I don't like being yelled at, and number two, I was just like, oh yeah. So it was an amazing experience. It was an amazing experience, but like I'm definitely.
Why are you doing this with the microphone?
I'm definitely glad that I'm not doing it anymore. Been there, done that. Realized it wasn't something I wanted as a career. And I just wanted to be on my bike more. Yeah. It sucked being at events and not being able to ride your bike.
Because you're working all the time.
Yeah. Like you could that sucked. I would just like watched all my friends have fun, and I was like, "So was that fun?" Because I wish I was doing it. So.
It's like one of my first jobs. I got a job as a lifty.
Yeah. And you just watch everybody
people was like shredding power laps, and I'm like, "Have a great run. Was that a great run? Have a great..." And I'm loading the chair, and they're like, "This was awesome. Gee, you should be here."
Their like faces are full of powder. They're laughing. You're and just like myself, single tears.
I am never working in the winter again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So you started free riding hard like 2015. You were healthy again. Your head cleared
kind
from
of 16. Yeah.
From the concussion syndromes, and you were given the check to or give yourself the check to start sending it again. And then you started killing it on the bike, and you got some sponsors, and you were doing some great projects. Some of the most notable ones, you know, I remember like when you did the Ferda Girls. Everyone knows Ferda Girls.
Yeah.
And you killed it. Won the Dirt Diaries at Crankworx Whistler. And,
that was actually my first edit that I'd ever really done. Like I'd done a few like other little like rider stuff, but the Ferda Girls was the first like creative thing that was put into the public eye, and it did really well. And that catapulted me, like that and Intersection.
Yeah, Intersection, that was...
Yeah, which we had actually filmed the year before. So Intersection was the first, I remember...
Oh, you did that before?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Intersection was October 2016. We filmed it. But it came out at Banff 2017 in September. And Ferda Girls came out August 2017.
And you did that with Lacey Kemp, was it not?
Yes. Yeah. And she was my manager at the time with Diamondback. Okay. So between her and Ferda Girls, those two things together kind of back to back. Ferda Girls was like the parody, the creativeness, the music video, the rapping, the sort of silly thing. And then Intersection was like about my art, and I'm riding through my artwork, and it was
that
with
a
Red Bull. Yeah, at Retallic.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, you don't like this? Well, how about this? And I think the two together were so opposite, but both really creative, that it like just projected me into the path where I am today.
Yeah.
So I feel like my resurgence, or my like reincarnation or whatever of my career from racing to media.
Reincarnation is a good word, yeah.
Kind of. Something like that.
What's it called?
Rebirthing.
If you came back as a redneck, it'd be called reincarnation. Reincarnation.
What in tarnation are you talking about?
If you don't pay your exorcist, do you get repossessed?
Oh, no. We're not doing this right now, Tippie.
Okay,
Focus.
okay,
No.
wait to the end.
But yeah, so I've got a lot to credit those two projects particularly.
And Ferda Girls, you did that with IFHT
IFHT.
guys?
Yeah, Matt Dennison and
you guys killed it. Like
Jason
I think you won, and I think we got third. But you guys deserved
you were
win.
there?
Yeah.
Didn't notice.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just third.
I'm just kidding.
Just good old bronze.
No, it was cool. It was really cool. I was terrified.
Well, because you had like the old Marzocchi suit. You're doing a parody of women and
yeah, I was
mountain biking in
letting
the
it
back
all
in the old
hang
days.
out, and I was calling people out, and I was telling boys to sit down, and I was like, I really hope the people see the sarcasm, but also
Because some people don't get sarcasm.
oh, there was plenty on YouTube that did not understand what was going on.
Yeah. It
Female
was dripping with sarcasm.
feminist propaganda, I think.
Yeah.
Was the complaint.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a music video. Have a laugh.
Yeah.
Sit down. No.
Yeah. Well, some people would probably just assume that you were trying to be, super sexy, with the
Oh,
Marzocchi suit
yeah. And I was like, okay, you guys don't get the reference. You haven't been around long enough.
Yeah. This is going
It's
back in
okay.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it was I love those guys. I love working with those guys.
They're so funny.
Yeah.
Very good at what they do.
Very good at what they do.
So then you went into you did Intersection before, and free riding and ripping it up at Retallic with your artwork superimposed on the video in behind the ridge lines.
Yeah.
That you painted and drew. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And some really cool effects, like little dust pockets and speed lines behind you, and then every now and then you'd catch air and style it out, and there'd be like wings would pop up and then disappear. And,
animated, some
and
animated
then you had some colorful puddles. You'd fly through these puddles, different colored puddles.
And those were actually colored. Like,
oh, wow.
People think it was like After Effects, but like the colored dust and stuff, like Lacey and one of the assistants or whatever had these like empty paper towel tubes filled with this dust that we bought, colored dust, and I'd ride by and they'd be in the bushes and they'd like fling it and like poof me in the face.
Yeah.
And then the puddles, we actually like made the puddles in the trail, like dug the trail out a bit. We replaced it, don't worry, and put like pond liners so it wouldn't like leach
away.
into the, and then it was like food coloring, cornstarch and water mixed to make these like super colorful puddles.
Bio-friendly.
Yeah, bio-friendly, of course. But yeah, so we actually made the colored puddles and stuff.
That looked rad.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Cool.
And then you had that quote, you mentioned it earlier, sometimes you have to create what you want to be a part of. I thought that was cool. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of people, and I did this for a really long time, wait for
it to come to you.
Yeah, wait for opportunity. You put on all this hard work. You're a great rider. You have a good personality, all this stuff. And you're like, great. Now I wait for my destiny to come.
Come knocking at the door.
And it's like, no, the reality.
The ship doesn't come in. You got to swim out to it sometimes.
Yeah, totally. And I don't know where I heard that, but the create what you want to be a part of. It's like, well, what do I what am I not seeing in content in mountain biking that I want to see? Like, what would inspire me? And then trying to create that. That's kind of like what I've based my whole career on, I guess.
Yeah.
Is like, what do I want to see? What do I want to watch? It's like, well, I think it would be really cool if there was somebody like riding through their artwork.
I love it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And then another quote in there was, being absolutely happy with where you are right now.
Yeah.
I like that. That was a nice quote. And then another one that you had was, when I ride, it feels like I'm dancing.
It feels like I'm dancing. It does. It's the flow state. It's definitely being totally content with where you are right now, having nothing else in your mind.
I love that moment.
And just
those moments.
The feeling of like weightlessness and then into the corner and then coming out of a corner and roosting and whipping off a jump. Like it's very, man, if you ever ride behind Brandon Semenuk in Whistler Bike Park, because I did it last year, it's dancing. I don't care what anyone else says. That man is a ballerina on a bike. It's so beautiful.
Even though he's not in Lycra anymore.
It's so beautiful. It's like single tear. I was like, like the style and the like, and everything. I'm like, yes, it's dancing.
You've ridden with a lot of good riders. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Brandon's one of the most talented mountain bikers in the world. That's got to be one of the most wildest things to do is follow Brandon.
Yeah, Dirt Merchant following Semenuk. Yeah.
Amazing.
It was pretty, like...
I rode behind Danny Hart last year on Joyride in the rain with Andrew Baker.
Stay on your bike, Danny.
Yeah, he says people say that to him all around the world.
It's so iconic.
Yeah. Everywhere he goes, everyone's telling him that, and he's like, oh, God.
That was Pager, wasn't it?
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay on your... Did you know that when he did that amazing run in 2012...
Was that Champery?
Mm-hmm. He crossed the line, and then Rob Warner was like, I think he's going to be world champion. No, Paige said that. Yeah. And then Rob Warner was like, I hope to God he's world champion. And then Paige was like, Rob, I'm going to give you a high five like Brett Tippie.
Oh, really?
And then he goes, how does he sit down with balls that big? And then my wife Sarah and I are watching it, and she goes, did they just mention your name? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, that's one of the most iconic downhill runs of all time, and they mention your name in the YouTube video.
That's
and I'm
awesome.
like, yeah. It's got like 100 million views or whatever it is, or
kind of a big deal.
Views. I'm just like, she goes, how do you do it? I'm like, I don't know.
You're iconic.
I was in the sound booth with those guys, and I announced like rider like 55
to 50.
You were there.
Oh.
So then I, because Rob went to, take a leak.
Yeah.
And then gave me the mic, and I'm like, whoa, I'm on there with Paige. So then
nice.
He came back, and then I high-fived everybody all stoked, and I left. So I think that's why they said that.
That's where it came from.
It's pretty funny.
We
rode Joyride, and I'm watching Danny not touch his brakes down Joyride in the rain. And
barely touch the ground.
Yeah. I've ridden with a lot of good riders, but I've never seen anyone ride like that in person, and it blew my mind. So I can only imagine following Semenuk.
I think racers is more like levitation, and then like the slope guys, it's more like dancing.
Yeah.
Like pure levitation. I'm like, did you even touch that entire section? Like I would be at a World Cup looking at a section and being like, okay, I'm gonna like, because you have the whole course memorized to like 2 inches of where you're gonna go the whole way down. You're like, okay, I'm going to go like right of that rock, left of this, blah, blah, blah. And then like Brooke McDonald comes in and is just like, and then like gone. And I'm like,
oh, yeah, just like that.
Okay, did he go left or right or didn't he even care? I don't even know. That was insane how fast they go.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. You see it in person and you're like, wow. It's like Rampage too, right? You see
Totally. Rampage is like nauseating. It's like vertigo. It's like you're standing up there and you're like, it's like when you're going cliff jumping in the ocean and you're like 70 feet in the air off a cliff, like, and you're like, you can't really tell where the water is. You're like, is it?
It looks like you're in a plane.
You're like, it's right there or is it there? I don't really. And then like Rampage is the same. Like the stuff is so big that you're like, you like actually your brain can't even compute the distance
that they're sending it. Yeah. And you know what kills me too is when you get there, you see the scale, which itself is amazing. But then there's all those little sub factors, like a little side hill here or a little pedal catcher there, and all those little things that as a mountain biker add to the technicality of it.
Yeah.
That you don't see on camera.
Yeah.
And or a little bit of loose stuff that came off the side hill before you send that, and it's like real, and that makes it more difficult to be able to ride that stuff.
Totally.
That it's only really apparent when you're there, right? So you did formation as well. So you had I think there were 6 of you girls
Yep.
that were riding.
Yeah, there was 6 of
and
us.
Katie Holden.
She kind of organized it.
And there was you and Viver Beek and Tony Seagrave and Vinnie Armstrong, Hannah Bergerman, Casey Brown,
Bernice Sandler,
and Miss Sandler.
Casey wasn't actually riding.
Casey Brown wasn't. No, she was
injured.
Was she injured? And Jill Kintner was there too, but she was just checking it out.
Yeah, she was kind of like a mentor. So there was me, Vinny, Via, Vero. I felt left out of the V names. Tawny, and oh my gosh, Hannah.
Yeah. And so you guys were riding, I think, on the 2015 Rebel Rampage site.
Yep.
And you're doing some gnarly lines, girl.
Thanks.
Like down that ridge line into all those like sandbags and then into the multi-drops. That's like aggressive. And I was like, and I've seen you, I've ridden with you and I've seen you ride steep stuff. And we've ridden some steep stuff before. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, she's going for it. Like, how did you step yourself up to get down there? Because you have, you're doing it on a trail bike as well. I believe,
I was on
all season, and then you had 2 runs on a downhill bike.
Oh yeah. So I hadn't ridden a downhill bike since I stopped racing World Cups in 2014. So this is 2019, and I was like, "Can I do it on a trail bike?" And Katie was like, I don't know. And then I asked a couple other people, and they were like, absolutely not, because I'd never been to Rampage. I'd never been to that part of Utah, and I'd been to Big Water or whatever that place is called.
Big Water, yeah.
And rode a trail bike there. So I was like, oh, okay, because like Diamondback doesn't make downhill bikes anymore. But I had this old Diamondback Freeride bike, like the same one Kelly McGarry used to ride. And it'd been sitting kind of in the back of my garage for years. And I was like, well, time to dust the old steed off, I guess. And I rode, literally, I rode 2 days on it and then went to formation.
Oh my.
And didn't put maintenance in it at all, like an idiot. The thing sounded like a shopping cart. Like everything was like bushings, bearings, everything was blown out because like it was an old bike. It had gotten around. And I rode Kong and then realized after Kong, which is like a gnarly kind of like free ride, ridgeline, lots of
double black diamond
steps, and me and Hannah were
Rampage light.
Me and Hannah were the only girls who rode it, and then realized when I got to the bottom that I had like half the PSI that I should have in my forks. So I was like already in my stanchions when I'm like, you're like this, and then you go to like pop off of something, but I'd go to pop and it would just lift to my stanchions, but not lift my front end.
Oh no.
So I'm like, oh God. And like so many close calls. And I was like, oh yeah, I should probably like service this or like actually look and see what I'm running here.
I have people for this. Oh, wait a minute, I don't.
yeah, it's how I roll. So yeah, that was interesting. But the whole point of formation is like a progression session and to push yourself. And I also wanted to separate myself from the other girls because I knew that their strong suit is more jumping and coming from the shore. And like we were saying earlier with the World Cups, like my strong suit is skinnies and gnar. So ridgeline with death on either side seemed to be a good choice for me. That stuff doesn't really scare me. I actually just really like it. Those like super skinny, high consequence, techie situations. So yeah, I hiked up there and I was like, I want to do this. And none of the other girls, some of the girls wouldn't even walk up there because it was so exposed. And I was the only girl.
Like literally, if you fall.
Yeah, you die.
You die, or you're going to be mangled.
Really mangled.
Like very, very.
Quite mangled.
And it goes down to like.
Yeah, like that.
Just enough to be able to do it.
Yeah, so that was cool. I was glad I didn't die. And then, off camber sandbags, and then you drop into the bowl of the 2015 site. And then there was another drop, and then a hard bench. And then, just kind of snake your way down.
Multi-drops.
Yeah, and it was cool.
Did you have any good crashes down there?
No, I didn't. However, there was a double drop that I ended up not doing the first drop out of my double drop, but I did the second drop, which was about a 25-foot step down. And the first one was kind of like a 10-foot plumb drop, like quite easy, but I just mentally just couldn't wrap my head around it. And I think it was kind of like a combo of things, but yeah, but in my eyes, I was like, well, we're here to push ourselves. We're here to see what we're capable of. And in my opinion, like, if you're not failing, then you're not trying hard enough. So the fact that I kind of had to walk away from a feature and think about it for the last 3 years for redemption, or 2 years.
It's not bugging you though, is it?
Not at all.
No.
Kind of shows me that I was pushing myself out of my comfort zone, which was the whole point of the event. So
yeah.
I couldn't beat myself up too badly. I'm like, I rode everything else. I rode below it and I rode above it, and I had the gnarliest top section. So if I had to walk away from this one thing, you know, sometimes you just have to, and you got to call it. And
as an experienced rider, sometimes it takes a bigger woman to say no, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not feeling it, don't do it, because if you can't see it, it's probably not going to go well. Yeah,
like it was a no hesitation thing, and I know that my abilities would have been able to do it, but for some reason on the day, I just couldn't wrap my head around it, and it pissed me off, and I haven't stopped thinking about it, and I will go back and do it. But yeah, at that moment, sometimes you just gotta
watch out, double drop. He's coming back for
that was my growl.
Yeah.
So like, what was it? Yes. Oh,
wait, I was looking for a growl from a bear, but anyways.
Close enough.
Where is it? We can get a growl here.
It kind of sounds like a burp fart.
Open your mouth. There we go.
Yeah, so, you know, you always need those things that you want to get redemption on. So, but overall, an awesome experience. It was really cool. Yeah. First time in the desert.
I was proud of you.
Thanks, man.
I was watching you on Instagram, and I was just like,
thanks.
Wow, BC girl, done good. Yeah. She's doing good.
Canadian Huckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You rode another night down there. You rode the White Line in Sedona.
Did.
And that's like another, if you fall, you die.
Yes. Yeah. The White Line. So funny story. I was there with my boyfriend at the time, and we were doing a big tour of the States, sleeping in the back of the truck and just trying to hit some stuff. I was looking for your rock roll and Kenny Smith and you, and that. I wanted to ride that, couldn't find it. And then we just happened to come across the White Line, sort of by accident, riding a trail in Sedona. No, Sedona. Yeah?
Yeah. Well, the one I did was in Moab, but the White Line.
The White Line is Sedona.
Sedona, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because there's Savona, which is near
Savona. That's why Kamloops.
Kamloops, yeah. That's why I was making sure I wasn't.
Savona.
Okay, Savona. Yeah. Sedona. And I remember looking up.
Savona, Sovana, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember looking up and seeing the White Line. And actually, there was a photo of Katie Holden doing it in Bike Mag from years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. And I couldn't believe, like, we just ran into it. And I was like, I have to ride that. And so my boyfriend at the time was not a mountain biker. And amazing photographer, though. But I don't think he quite understood the consequence of it, because he made me do it 7 times.
Come on.
In a row.
Really?
And every time I was like, there's one section of it where like it's so off camber and then it kinks in and you kind of have to like hop.
Yeah.
Like off camber hop and then 90-degree down. And then if anything goes wrong with your brakes, you are dead.
It's off a 100-foot cliff.
Yeah. And so
70 feet, 100 feet, whatever. Enough.
Yeah. So I was like, did you get the shot? And he's like, do it again. I'm like, no. And I like wanted the shot so bad. So I just like went and did it like 7 times. And then I posted it.
I think you owned it. If you do it 7 times, you own it.
And then do it in my sleep now. No. And then I posted it. And then I think Katie was like, dude, what the fuck? That's so gnarly. Like, you rode the White Line. That's insane. And I was like, well, I rode it because like I saw a photo of you doing it. She's like, I didn't ride the whole thing. I just rode the beginning. And I was like,
oh.
What? I was like, well, you motivated me to do it. So like, that's sick. Thanks, man. And
props
she's like,
to me.
Yeah. And she's like, wow, that's so sick. Like props. Yeah. And I was like, damn. Well, it's a good thing I didn't know that before I went, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Like, You know, it's the whole if she can do it, I can do it mentality, which
Totally.
is so powerful for women in freeride these days. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's
I was
cool.
like, cool. So I just did like 7 times.
Well, the shot I saw too was taken between a couple bushes, and it's you actually at the moment of truth where you turn the left and you go down towards the exposure. You got to turn left again, right? And the bushes are kind of covering where you came in from, and to the left,
can't really-
and it
yeah.
kind of frames it. And I was just like, oh, I'm so glad the photographer nailed it. Didn't get the bush in the way, trying to get artsy.
Well, he nailed it after 6 times.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's what they call lucky number 7, right?
Oh man, but he's amazing, an amazing
Yeah,
photographer.
the shot
and
is sick.
yeah, I wouldn't have
I liked
wanted
it right
anyone
away. I
else
was
to.
like, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, it was cool. It was by far one of my favorite shots of me riding.
Yeah.
Looked like a little fly on the wall.
Oh yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like, yeah, it's very cool.
Need to get back down there.
So another big video that you did was in India. Perspective.
Yes. Perspectives India. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And so you went in there and wrote some big mountains, and
Yep.
I think that was a Scott Secco project.
Yep. Scott Secco, Periscore, and it was for Freehub Mag. So Brandon Watts came along too.
How high elevation were you?
High.
Yeah. Like,
High. Yeah. We were in the Himalayas. And we were at the Pindari Glacier. Excuse me. I can't remember. 17,000 somethings or 18,000 somethings or 19,000. I don't remember. It was high.
I think it's
We had to
15 and a half.
15 and then
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
no,
Very high sounds.
I don't know, maybe
sounds good.
19's Everest. I have no idea. I'm just throwing numbers out here.
Everest is 29,000.
Okay, well never mind.
Yeah. No, I think it's actually it was Claw went there.
He went to
with
Bhutan
Cam.
though.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was at 15.5,
Yeah.
I believe.
We could like pull out a fact sheet. We could Google it. But
Let's make up some facts and
Yeah.
pretend like we own it.
It was
yes, that's what it was.
it was higher than Claws.
Yeah.
No, but it was high. We had to acclimatize, and we flew into Delhi. We're in Delhi for a few days. Absolutely amazing, absolutely chaotic city. Like
The market scenes are amazing. We were going through the markets and the spices and the
so beautiful.
the colors of the buildings and,
yeah.
and the clothing and the
Sensory overload.
Yeah.
So many people packed into one place. Everyone is so friendly. It was like it was by far the coolest trip I've ever been on.
yeah. It
Yeah.
looked amazing.
It was
the footage is awesome.
Oh, it was so cool. And Secco did such a good job, and Paris got such good photos. And like, honestly, so it was like a 15-day bike pack trip. Adventure.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the riding was extremely subpar.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah, the riding was terrible. We had to like fake it till we make it. Like there's a shot of me where I'm riding down this like crazy rock with a waterfall in the background.
Yeah, I love that shot.
Favorite photo, so cool.
Was it wet from the spray of the waterfall?
No, but there was like if you messed up, there was just like a cliff down
Out of the shot.
into the waterfall kind of. It was pretty high consequence, but it wasn't even a trail. Like we were like hiking up, and I kind of looked and I was like, I think I could make that into a rock roll. So I kind of like dug out, like benched out a little bit of dirt and like put some rocks up so that I could get up onto it and then roll down it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't part of the trail. So there was like quite a bit of that sort of like ad lib one hit wonders to add to the piece.
Do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, because a lot of it was just like mule pack trails where they like dig stones down into the ground. So it's like the stones are quite spaced and really, really bumpy. And it was kind of like as wide as a sidewalk. So like not that cool. It was like, la, 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 la. Like that's kind of like the vibe.
Yeah.
So, but the scenery and the people and the culture and the food and the experience was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I'll never forget. We camped at the base of the glacier, and there was the holy man that lives up there full time, Babaji. He was sick. He was so cool. Super smiley guy. But I remember going in the middle of the night out of my tent to go pee and looking up.
Do
and
not pee into the wind, Micayla.
And Baba G's sitting there. No. You're in luck. Get it? You're in?
I get it. You're in.
I tried.
You're in the good books with that joke.
And
I remember peeing once, and then this ski guide goes, "Hey, look, Brett's writing his name in the snow with his pee. How come it's in his brother's handwriting?" I'm like, "Hey,
Ew.
You're in trouble with that joke."
You're in trouble. So anyways, going to go take a night pee, and I look up, and the way the mountains were and the moon reflecting off the snow on the glaciers and the stars, it just felt like I was in this, like, being, like, carried in this, like, mountain basket through the galaxy. It was, like, the craziest, like, I felt so small, but, like, oddly protected by the mountains, and the stars were the most incredible stars I've ever seen. It's, like, ingrained in my memory, I think, forever. I was like, it's one of those moments when you're just like,
when you're old, you remember clearly.
Yeah, and you just have so much appreciation for, like, you realize how far you've come and where you are just in life, and you're like, I am in the Himalaya in a tent that's, like, covered in ice.
Being absolutely happy with where I am
Being
right now.
absolutely happy with where you are right now.
Yes.
No, and I'm like, I feel like I've just created what I want to be a part of. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those moments for sure where I was, like, so grateful for my life and biking in general.
That's so
and, like,
cool.
how far where biking has taken me.
Yeah.
Sounds cheesy, but
It's true though, right?
yeah, it was definitely one of those moments.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So, you've done these amazing things, racing, free riding, creating content, using your artistic talents and your skills as an athlete. What's in the future for Micayla Gatto now?
Someone asked me that the other day. They were like, so
what's next?
In 5 years, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I mean, 5 years ago, you could not have paid me to have guessed that I would be where I am right now. So I think I'm just going to leave it up to fate. like I have, there's visions that I have, but at the same time, I don't want to have all these expectations for myself or, like, limit myself.
Or constrain yourself.
Yeah. So I'm more just, like, keep doing what I'm doing.
Go with it.
And go with the flow and see where it takes me. I always thought it would be fun to, I would love to, like, host, like, a Netflix series or something, like a TV show. I think that would be so cool. And then
without the headphones.
Without the headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, without being screamed at.
Can I be your producer and scream at you?
Yeah.
I'll scream jokes at you.
Yeah, it would all be pre-recorded though, so I'm safe.
Yeah.
I can screw up as many times as I want.
Take 7.
Yeah.
Write that again.
But yeah, I think it would be really cool. Like I got some ideas that I don't want people to steal, so I'm not going to say them. But no.
Censor.
Doing what I'm doing now, but just, like, bigger and better and more.
Yeah.
I think would be awesome. Either that or, I mean, who knows? In 5 years, maybe.
You're going to probably be like a pro surfer or something.
I've started free diving, where you, like, free diving, essentially just holding your breath and wearing big fins. And
go down for as long
and you go, like, down, and then I want to get into, like, harvesting, so, like, catching my own fish and crab and stuff like that. Wow. But yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll be doing that full time. I don't know.
Going after crustaceans just by yourself, because then you'll be very shellfish.
It's a shellfish endeavor. Yes. Free diving.
Wow.
But yeah, probably still riding bikes till the end of time.
You're a lifer.
I'm a lifer.
Yeah.
I would like to be a free rider when I'm 50. What's that like, Tip?
Hey, the view from the 5th floor is fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You're an inspiration.
52.
Yeah, see?
You know what? You never expect to be where you are when you're finally there, and you're like, it just seems so strange. Like, 50 seems so ancient when I was, like, younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're like, I won't even make it at 50. Like, you know what I mean? And then you get to 50 and you're like, I want to make it at 51.
Oh yeah, it's laughable. Like my goals, like my 10-year goals, like 10 years ago of where I'd be right now. I'm like, well, we're falling short on a lot of things, but we're also doing way better than I ever thought. And like the life I am doing right now is a heck of a lot cooler than what I thought. Like married with children, and we have like a house and, you know, a family, and I, you know, make breakfast for everyone. And like, it's definitely not happening, but
I'm just all like, rah!
Little did I know when I was like 33, I would still be acting like a child, but that's cool. And making a living at it. So that's also cool.
Yeah. Don't knock it.
No,
just go with it.
Totally. So that's the plan. Just go with it.
It sounds like you appreciate it.
And not limit yourself.
That's very important.
Yeah, I'm extremely grateful. Took a lot to get to where I am, and I feel like I have the awareness to appreciate where I am.
Yeah.
And not take it for granted.
Yes.
Because damn, there's always someone trying to replace you. That's for sure.
Oh. Yeah.
The youth, I tell you what, they're on
always,
fire.
Yeah. Youth is wasted on the young, they say, and they're always climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool to see where the sport's going.
Yeah. Well, you've been a big part of it, and it's
Thanks,
always
man.
fun to
Feels
ride
weird
with you
to
and
think
hang
that.
out with you.
Feels like I'm like, oh yeah, I guess. Like now I'm at the age where like in my interviews and stuff, we're talking about like back in the day, and I'm like still like in my head, I'm still like fresh and new, and like I'm one of the like younger ones, and I'm like, no,
you're not.
nope.
No.
I guess I guess I've been around for a while.
Yeah, it happens.
Since the early 2000s.
Time keeps on rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
But hey, you're doing a good thing with your life. You're enjoying yourself, and you make a lot of people happy. You're inspiring people. And,
that's the goal.
Yeah, I'm stoked for you. So keep on rocking.
Thanks.
Before we sign out with Micayla Gatto, do you have a dad joke for me?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
here we go, everybody. What's Micayla Gatto got?
I've got a couple.
Okay.
I'm going to start off with one related to a topic that we were just sort of touching base on.
Okay.
So you're Canadian when you go into the bathroom and when you come out, but what are you when you're in the bathroom?
European?
Yes.
Yeah.
European.
When you come out, you're Finnish.
Damn.
And when you're going in, you're Russian.
Oh my God. You just thwarted my dad joke.
Sorry.
With more
No,
dadness.
I added to it.
No, I like it. I might have to like write that down.
Yeah.
Russian. Get all the things.
And if you're in the bedroom, you'd be Himalayan.
I can't with this guy. I feel like you're like, here, tell me a dad joke, because I got a better one.
Sorry.
You're like, let me shine. Let me shine.
I'm jamming with you. Okay.
Well, it takes guts to be an organ donor, so.
Do you ever see the Monty Python where they're like, I'm not done with it yet.
No.
They're trying to get his organs, and he goes, "You're an organ donor," and he goes, "Yes, but I'm
not done with it yet." I only know the like, it's only a flesh wound. Is that from?
No, that's Monty Python.
That's Monty Python.
Yeah, the meaning of life.
And we are the knights that say "ni."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Life of Brian.
Fetch me a shrubbery.
Holy Grail.
Search the Holy Grail. Yeah.
I remember watching those as a child, and just. I would like to rewatch all of the Monty Pythons because I watched them with my dad as I was maybe 8, 7. And so like it was hard enough for me to understand the accents, let alone the jokes. And like so much of it just like went over my head.
Yeah.
I'm sure when I rewatch it, I'd be like, I was allowed to watch this.
Different age.
But yeah.
You got something else? What else you got?
Well, I mean, Sundays are always a little sad. But the day before is a Saturday.
Very nice. Very nice. I got a quiz for you.
What?
Name 3 days, 3 consecutive days, 3 days in a row that do not include Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Mm-hmm. 5 seconds.
Saturday, Sunday. I don't know.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
I knew it was outside the box. I was like, I know this is not I know I'm not supposed to say like Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Like I know, but I also was like present. No.
Well, you know what date is today? It's Tippie Tuesday with Micayla Gatto.
Isn't it?
Unless they're watching it,
Isn't it
not when it first premiered. Yeah, I don't know. It could be whatever they're watching.
It's a Thursday.
It's really a Thursday.
No, it's a Friday.
Okay, it's Gatto Thursday.
Wait, what day is it today?
Friday. Gatto Friday.
This is the
Whatever day people are watching this. What day is it where you are?
The blessing and curse of not having a schedule or a 9 to 5 is having absolutely no idea what day it is. Someone's like, "What did you do for the long weekend?" I'm like, "The long what?
The what?
The who?
The who? What's a long weekend?"
Oh yeah, I noticed it was very crowded everywhere. That was annoying.
It's all long weekend.
That was annoying. Is that what that was? Oh, what an inconvenience. Why do melons have weddings?
Why?
Because they can't elope.
Oh.
That's it. That's all I have. Also,
my brother says marriage is like a card game of poker. You start off with a pair of hearts, you move to a queen and a diamond, and you end up wanting a club and a spade.
That's pretty good. I like that.
That's for my brother.
Is Sarah listening? Does Sarah know that?
No, that's in general.
Right.
Or with some people.
Right.
Yeah.
Not you.
I don't know how I did it, actually. I'm so lucky.
Yeah, she's rad.
Yeah.
We were looking at her roller skate.
Roller skate.
Ooh. Collection.
Yeah.
I am very jealous. The wheels light up.
Yeah. No, I love it. How's your
Maybe
night?
that'll
How's your night glowing?
Maybe that'll be my next hobby.
Maybe.
You know, I feel like I just collect more and more hobbies with age. So
yeah. Do it all.
Roller babe.
Do it all.
Why not?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this has been fun. Thanks for the laughs. Thanks for the info.
Of course,
and,
always.
Hope you enjoyed it. And always a pleasure.
Catch you next time,
Yeah.
Tip.
All right.
See you on the trails.
Micayla Gatto. Yeah. Thanks, bud.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Snail. Oh, my joke. I forgot. Quickly. I took the shell. Give me one of those. I took the shell off my racing snail, hoping it would make it faster. But it only made him sluggish. There we go.
That's
all right.
good.
Thanks, Micayla.
Thanks so much, Tip.
Right on. Micayla Gatto, everybody. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.